The laughter echoed across the marble-floored restaurant like a careless slap, loud enough to turn heads and sharp enough to sting, and in that single moment a young waitress felt something inside her tighten, not fear, not anger, but a quiet certainty that her life was about to change in a way no one at that table could imagine. The millionaire's joke had been meant to humiliate, meant to remind her of where she stood and where he believed she would always remain, yet as sunlight poured through the tall glass windows and settled on her trembling hands, destiny leaned closer, listening. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in unexpected transformations, to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the Channel Kindness Journal, where stories like this remind us that humanity still matters. Her name was Maribel Cruz, and every morning she walked into the Silver Veranda Cafe just as the city woke up, the air still cool, the streets still forgiving. By day, the cafe was a place of polished wood, soft music, and wealthy patrons who spoke of investments and acquisitions as casually as others spoke of weather. Maribel wore the same pale blue uniform every shift, neatly pressed, sleeves rolled just enough to reveal wrists marked by old ink stains from nights spent translating books she borrowed from the public library. Most customers never noticed her beyond the refill of a cup or the quiet placement of a plate, but she noticed everything: the way power moved through a room, the way money changed voices, the way words could open or close doors. Maribel had not planned to be a waitress. She had once dreamed of being a linguist, a bridge between cultures, someone who could make meaning travel safely from one language to another. Her father had taught her that words carried history, and her mother had taught her that dignity did not depend on job titles. When her parents died within months of each other, the dreams folded in on themselves like paper boats in rain. Bills arrived faster than opportunities, and the cafe job was the only thing standing between her and homelessness. Still, she carried her love for languages quietly, translating poems in her head while wiping tables, practicing pronunciation while waiting for orders to be ready. That afternoon, the cafe buzzed brighter than usual. A group of executives had reserved the central table, sunlight splashing over crystal glasses and tailored suits. Among them sat Victor Hallstrom, a self-made millionaire known for his ruthless confidence and louder-than-life presence. He was the kind of man who filled space without asking permission, whose laughter demanded attention. Maribel served them with her usual calm, though she felt the familiar tightening in her chest when Victor's eyes lingered on her name tag a moment too long. As if reading it were an inconvenience, the conversation at the table drifted toward an international film project Victor was funding, something about expanding into foreign markets. Papers were spread out, glossy and important-looking, covered in text written in a language none of them seemed to understand. Someone joked about needing a miracle, and Victor, with that careless grin, motioned toward Maribel. He suggested, loudly enough for others to hear, that perhaps the waitress could translate the document, adding that if she managed it, he would make her a director. His laughter followed, thick and dismissive, and a few others joined in, more out of loyalty than humor. For a brief second, the room felt smaller. Maribel felt every eye flicker toward her, waiting for embarrassment, waiting for retreat. The challenge was meant as entertainment, a reminder of hierarchy, yet beneath the humiliation was something else, a test she had been preparing for her entire life without knowing it. Her heart pounded as she looked at the document, recognizing the language instantly, a rare dialect she had studied obsessively during her university years before life intervened. The words on the page were complex, layered with cultural nuance, and she knew that a shallow translation would destroy its meaning. She did not argue or defend herself. She simply nodded, accepting the paper with hands that no longer trembled. As the executives returned to their conversation, assuming the joke was over, Maribel stood there, sunlight illuminating the page, and began to read. Time stretched. The clatter of dishes faded. She translated silently at first, then carefully began to explain the meaning, not word for word, but intention for intention, context for context. She clarified references, corrected assumptions, and revealed a clause that completely altered the contract's implications. The laughter died. One by one, the men leaned forward, listening. What silenced Victor was not just her accuracy, but her confidence. Maribel spoke with the quiet authority of someone who understood that language was not about showing off, but about respect. She pointed out a potential legal disaster hidden behind flattering phrasing, saving the project from what could have been a costly international dispute. The document, once a prop for a joke, became evidence of her capability. In the bright light of day, with customers watching and waitstaff pausing mid-step, the balance of power shifted almost imperceptibly, yet completely. Victor did not laugh again. He asked her how she knew the language, and she explained simply, without bitterness, that she had studied it, loved it, lived it, even if her current circumstances did not reflect that. The table fell quiet, not with discomfort, but with reconsideration. For the first time, Victor looked at Maribel not as a background figure, but as a presence he had underestimated. The days that followed felt unreal. Victor returned to the cafe, not as loudly, not with jokes, but with questions. He asked about her studies, her interests, her perspective on storytelling across cultures. Maribel answered honestly, still working her shifts, still carrying trays, but now carrying something else too, a cautious hope. Opportunities did not rain down instantly. Instead, they arrived slowly, like daylight creeping across a floor. Victor offered her a chance to consult on the project, initially unpaid, a test, he said. Maribel accepted, knowing that dignity sometimes required patience. Balancing her job and the consulting work nearly broke her. She slept little, studied constantly, and doubted herself often. There were moments she considered quitting, moments when exhaustion whispered that this was all temporary kindness that would fade. Yet every time she thought of giving up, she remembered the silence after Victor's laughter, the power of being seen, and she kept going. Slowly, her contributions shaped the project. Scenes were rewritten with cultural sensitivity. Dialogues gained depth. What began as a commercial venture started to feel like art. Victor changed too, though not all at once. He listened more. He interrupted less. Watching Maribel work forced him to confront how often he had confused confidence with cruelty. When the project succeeded internationally, praised for its authenticity, he did something unexpected. In a quiet meeting held during the afternoon, sunlight spilling across the conference room, he offered Maribel a formal position as a creative director in training. It was not the joke he had once made. It was real, documented, and deserved. Maribel left the cafe on her last day with mixed emotions. She thanked the co-workers who had supported her, hugged the manager who had once given her a chance without asking questions, and stepped outside into the bright, ordinary afternoon. The city looked the same, yet she felt different walking through it, not because she had escaped service work, but because she had reclaimed her narrative. She had learned that dignity could survive humiliation, and that kindness, when paired with courage, could rewrite futures. As the months passed, Maribel grew into her new role, mentoring others, advocating for voices often ignored, and never forgetting where she started. She returned to the Silver Veranda Cafe sometimes, sitting by the window, watching the sunlight fall across tables, remembering the day laughter tried to define her and failed. Her story spread quietly, not as a tale of revenge, but as a reminder that talent does not wear a uniform, and potential does not announce itself loudly. If this story is moving you, if it reminds you of someone who has been underestimated or a moment when kindness changed a life, please pause here and let us know in the comments. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs today. Just before the ending, we have a special request. Please comment the word believe if you believe that respect and second chances can change the world. In the end, Maribel did not silence a millionaire with anger or pride, but with grace, preparation, and truth. The cafe remained a cafe, the city kept rushing by, and the sun continued to rise every morning, but one small moment of courage had altered the course of several lives. And somewhere, in places we may never see, similar moments wait quietly, ready to unfold when someone chooses to stand steady in the light. If this story touched your heart, if it stirred hope or reminded you of your own hidden strength, please like, share, and engage with this video. Your support helps stories of kindness travel further, and together, we can keep reminding the world that compassion still has the power to silence doubt and open doors.